We're repairing a controller, like the controllers used in our electric vehicles. If it's broken, when you take it to a repair shop, they usually just replace the entire controller. A small controller is fine, costing tens of yuan, or at most a little over 100 yuan. But a large controller might cost several hundred yuan. And even after you get it back, you might find that many functions don't work because of incompatibility. Unless you get an identical replacement controller, which is often difficult, you'll lose many functions. However, our controllers can often be opened and repaired internally, and some small components can be reused. So today I'm going to share this process. This controller was brought in for repair, all the wires were cut. This makes troubleshooting a bit difficult. After I disassemble and repair it, I'll share how to identify the wires and measure their parameters. First, set the multimeter to the diode setting and measure if there's a short circuit in the main circuit. Place the black probe on the red wire and measure the yellow, green and blue wires. I mentioned earlier that the yellow wire might have a short circuit. Then we swap the probes, the yellow wire is indeed short-circuited. Now we'll disassemble it. Disassembling the controller is quite simple. It says dedicated controller for permanent magnet synchronous motor, 60 volts/72 volts, 1500 watts. Now we can take it out. We need to remove this part. This is quite easy to remove. Just remove all the screws. After removing the large heatsink module, you can see the inside of the controller. Now it's open. The yellow wire, which was short-circuited, corresponds to these 4 transistors. We'll remove these 4 transistors first. When removing these transistors, the soldering iron temperature must be high, and the power must be sufficient, otherwise it will be difficult to remove them. If the solder doesn't melt easily, you can add some solder. Basically, the solder used in the original components is high-temperature solder. Using low-temperature solder makes it much easier to remove. After removing the transistors, we need to measure the main board to see if there are any remaining short circuits. We found that after removing the transistors, there were no more short circuits. Then these 4 tubes were removed together. Let's see which one is broken. This tube exploded. Only one tube exploded. Only this one tube short-circuited. Therefore, the entire circuit could not be formed, causing some malfunctions. Then let's check if there are any other problems with the board. When replacing the MOS tubes, be sure to replace them with the same model, and preferably with the same production date. It's best to replace all 4 at once to ensure normal operation. So now I've found 4 identical ones and replaced them. Then I'll test the machine again. Remember to clean the solder off the pins when reinstalling. This isn't solder wick, it's shielding tape removed from old cables. It needs to be cleaned thoroughly, otherwise it's easy to damage the copper foil when reinserting. This side also needs to have the holes cleaned. All the holes need to be cleaned with a desoldering gun, otherwise it's easy to damage the holes. When the holes are cleaned properly, reinsertion is very convenient and easy. Otherwise, if it's not cleaned properly, it's easy to damage the PCB board. After soldering the MOS tubes, we measure the main circuit again to see if there is a short circuit. Now we find there is no short circuit. Now we need to find these various wires, because we need to test it, and for testing, you need those wires. So how do we find these wires? It's actually very simple. We just need to flip it over and we'll know. The wiring is all written here. We just need to find the Hall sensor wires, which are here, the A, B, and C phases, and then the positive and negative terminals. Then find the throttle wires. The throttle wires are here. This is the throttle signal, this is the throttle signal wire, the positive of the throttle, and the negative is the D wire. Then we also need to find a high-speed EBS. We can find it by checking the continuity of the circuit. For example, our throttle wire SP, corresponding to this color, we just need to check the continuity. This is the throttle signal wire. Then we can find the other wires we need in the same way. However, the most difficult thing when buying a used controller is finding these wires. Some people just cut them off with scissors when disassembling. Finding the wires ourselves is not that complicated. We can find them very easily. I've also talked about how to find these wires in my previous videos. If you're interested, you can check my previous videos. Then I connected a throttle, and now I'm using 60 volts, and I've connected all the wires. I connected an oscilloscope. I usually like to check the waveform with an oscilloscope first, because blindly proceeding could easily damage the components. Then we twist the throttle, and you can clearly see the waveform on the oscilloscope. This basically means there are no problems. So this is what people mean by sine wave and square wave. This is the square wave's sine wave. Its waveform is the same as our AC power. This is the square wave controller. Now I've connected a motor and twisted the throttle. Now it can operate normally, which means it's repaired. I replaced 4 MOSFETs. I only needed to replace one, but they need to be replaced in pairs, so I replaced 4. It wasn't very difficult. Then I just checked the wiring, and now it works normally. Because this controller is relatively large, buying a new one would probably cost 200 or 300 yuan, which is very uneconomical. Repairing it doesn't cost much. Okay, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.